Okay, guys, so let's get started. Before we do so, a quick formal introduction on mine. My name is Mohammed Shoaib. I'll be your cybersecurity trainer for this entire duration of the course. Okay. I'm currently working as a senior penetration tester based in Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, okay, in an organization called Symbiosis Technologies. And I've had an experience of almost 6+ years in this domain. And I've been training students, again, around for the same amount of duration. Okay. So, again, when we talk about this course, Certified Ethical Hacking, this is specifically an entry level course for people who are planning to get into the domain of cybersecurity. Again, although it's entry level, it explains everything from the very basics up to the intermediate level. So you basically understand what cybersecurity is, what hacking is, what ethical hacking is, okay, and basically what do we do as penetration testers in an organization. So let's start again with an understanding on what hacking and ethical hacking is, because a lot of students have a misconception that hacking and ethical hacking are one and the same. So let's clarify that first. Okay. To define hacking.
Shoaib, sorry to interrupt, Shoaib. Your voice is breaking.
Oh, is it just a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. How about now? Is it better by any chance? Hello?
Yes. Yes. Better.
Okay, perfect. So let's start the demo by understanding the definitions of what hacking is and what ethical hacking is. So getting a clear idea on what the different terminologies are, what the different categories of hackers are, and what their operations are. When you talk about hacking, this is specifically the procedure of trying to gain access to information systems. What I mean by that phrase, gaining access to information systems, is if I were a hacker, and let's say if I've hacked your phone or your computer, it means I have complete control of that device now. I can steal information from your system. I can destroy or modify information on your system, or I can basically sell your information to other people without your knowledge, okay, and without your permission as well, okay. And sometimes hackers are so mischievous they can even do it just for fun, okay. So according to this definition of hacking, we definitely know that this is a very criminal or an illegal activity. Now, if hacking is such an illegal activity, how do we have a course called ethical hacking? And how is this getting ethical in the first place or legal in the first place? To define ethical hacking, on the other hand, this is the procedure of trying to find vulnerabilities. So, this terminology called vulnerability is something that you keep hearing on throughout the course. To define it, it's a loophole, it's a flaw in the information system. And you try to find these vulnerabilities or loopholes in the organization with the consent and with the knowledge of the organization owning those systems. Okay. Once these vulnerabilities are found, you can understand that how hackers are exploiting these vulnerabilities to get access to the same devices. So what you try to do is you try to report these vulnerabilities back to the organization and also provide remediations or solutions to remove or eradicate these vulnerabilities. Okay. So once that is done, once all the vulnerabilities have been patched up, once there's no other vulnerability to exploit, then you can basically defend the organization from all sorts of cyber threats. So your job in ethical hacking is basically finding the vulnerabilities or loopholes in the information systems, reporting it to the organization, and removing those vulnerabilities to keep the organizations secure. Yep. Depending on these two definitions, we can categorize the types of hackers. There's someone known as a white hat hacker, a gray hat hacker, and a black hat hacker. Your black hat hackers are the typical cyber criminals. These are people who perform hacking for their own benefit or for fun without asking for consent. On the other end of the spectrum, we have white hat hackers. hackers who are basically abiding by the laws and policies of the company and working for securing the company's infrastructure. And in between, there's a third mysterious category called grey hat hackers. These are people who have qualities of both black hat as well as white hat. Like a black hat hacker, they don't ask for permission first, but once they find a vulnerability, they report it back to the company like a white hat hacker. But they don't do it for free, they do it in return for a bounty. A bounty is like a financial reward they expect in return for reporting that vulnerability. Hence, they're also commonly known as bug bounty hunters, hunting for bugs in return for a bounty. Now, no matter what category of a hacker you take, black hat hackers or gray hat hackers or white hat hackers, they perform hacking or ethical hacking in a certain procedure. And that procedure is called as cyber kill chain. Okay. So to define cyber kill chain, this is a procedure that hackers follow in order to perform a successful cyber attack. So the exact procedure to perform a cyber attack and understand what the vulnerabilities are and exploit those vulnerabilities and get access to devices is called as cyber kill chain. And the same exact procedure is replicated by ethical hackers as well in a simulated environment to understand how these attacks are being performed, to detect these attacks at the earliest time possible, and prevent them at every level in the organization. So the method to attack or defend systems is very similar because unless and until you know how to attack the systems and what kind of attacks are possible, you would not know what are the defense methodologies to apply or what are the defense techniques to apply. Okay. So the cyber kill chain consists of five important stages, and first stage is called as information gathering. Second stage is called as scanning. Third stage is gaining access. Fourth stage is maintaining access. And the last stage is reporting or clearing traces. Our entire course is going to revolve around these five steps itself. Understanding what each of these steps of information, of cyber kill chain is. What is information gathering? What is scanning? What is gaining access? Maintaining access, and then finally, how do you perform reporting as an ethical hacker or removing evidences, clearing traces as a non-ethical hacker, a cyber criminal. Okay. So again, this is what the entire course is going to revolve around, the entire 35 days duration of the course. And each of these modules again, these five stages again, has multiple sub-modules or subcategories of topics in them. Okay. So again, a brief intro on each of these steps now. When you talk about information gathering first, this is again from the name itself, we can figure out hackers or ethical hackers try to obtain information passively about the organization. So the first step is researching about the organization that you're trying to get into. So again, when you talk about research, you need to know what information to obtain as well. So these are the pieces of information. As an ethical hacker or a hacker, you obtain all these pieces of information such as IP addresses, whose records, DNS records, domains, subdomains, operating system information, email addresses of the employees, contact numbers of the employees, usernames and passwords of the employees, and a lot more data. Believe it or not, all of this information is readily available on the internet. The only thing is you need to know what those websites are from where you can obtain this data. Okay. Once all of this data has been obtained, it is utilized in the next phase, which is called as scanning. So this is also commonly known as enumeration. And here we get some extra data, but by making active connections. So earlier we get the data passively without making any contact. Here we get the data actively. So we try to figure out what devices are available in the organization. On those devices, what ports are open, what services are running. And on those ports and services, what applications could contain what vulnerabilities. So we perform various categories of scanning here, try to obtain all that data. And once you know what vulnerabilities exist, then comes the gaining access phase, the phase where you try to perform attacks on those vulnerabilities and get access to remote applications or services or the entire devices itself. Okay. So this is the main core of the subject. Covers a vast variety of topics here, but the main agenda is understanding how to attack every single endpoint. So we talk about system security, malware attacks, network security, network-based attacks, sniffing attacks, man-in-the-middle attack, denial of service attack, hacking Wi-Fi routers, or basically stealing credentials from users, performing social engineering, phishing attacks, hacking web servers, web applications, firewalls, mobile phones, verification of vulnerabilities. So once you know what vulnerabilities exist, How do you attack on every single vulnerability? How do you exploit it or can take advantage out of it? So all of those are the various topics involved in gaining access module. Okay. And again, basically understanding how to attack every single endpoint, no matter what device it be in the organization is gaining access. Once that is done, finally, we have something called maintaining access, where we learn how to maintain remote connections to the system. So once you've gotten remote access of a device, how do you maintain that connection, even if the system reboots, is what we learn in maintaining access. And finally, we have reporting or clearing traces, where we talk about how do you generate reports as an ethical hacker, elaborating the vulnerabilities found, or on the other hand, how do you delete the evidence of your actions as a cyber criminal? The entire course's agenda is understanding how to attack systems and defend the same systems as a penetration tester. Yeah. And again, as mentioned, we'll be following the same exact curriculum from the official organization EC Council for a duration of 35 days, where we have classes from Monday to Friday, every day for 1 hour each. Okay. Each of these sessions are recorded. You'll be getting these documentations, and again, all the notes is already prepared. So you don't need to, again, separately create any notes. Everything will be provided inclusive in the course price itself. So yeah, if you have any questions also, you can let me know.
Yeah, actually, I have one question. Currently, I'm working as a Java developer, so I need to shift a domain. So, which I mean, in cybersecurity, there are different roles are there. Which role
Mhm.
will be flexible for the Java developer?
Java again for basic applications is what you're talking about. UHA, desktop-based
Not
application.
application, not application role. Like if we see like in current existing in offices, like in cybersecurity, there are different roles. Like it's a vulnerability management. I mean, a vulnerability analyst and a firewall analyst, and like that roles are there. No, so for that roles,
This
which role will be flexible for
This
Java
course is basically for penetration testing, actually. So you'll also be getting the job of, again, the same job role as a penetration tester or either a security engineer role, where you're basically testing application security or endpoint security. So as a Java developer, you can transition towards application security. As mentioned, again, we'll be covering topics on mobile phones or web application
developer.
securities or your desktop application securities as well. How do you verify which applications contain vulnerabilities and how do you rectify those vulnerabilities and perform exploitation as well. So again, more importantly, you can apply for application security engineer or application security tester job roles.
Okay. Yeah, and how many days it will be taken?
The course is for a duration of 35 days. We have classes from Monday to Friday, every day for 1 hour each. So 35 days in total.
35 days. And will you provide any project hands-on?
Right. Again, whatever topics we're learning, will be working on the same exact real-time tools or hands-on tools in the industry itself. Tools like Burp Suite, Tenable Nessus, Metasploit. So as we progress with every topic, we'll be learning how to attack actual applications and actual devices. So those itself act as a pen testing project for us by the end of this course.
Yeah. Yeah, after by the end of this course, I mean, we need to mention any test or like that, or else directly we will take certificate.
No, again, you'll be getting the course completion certificate from the institute, huh? But if you're planning on writing the certification exam, you can again register for EC Council's CH examination. That's quite costly, actually. It's around $500 or so. But once you pass that
Okay.
exam, then you get the certificate from EC Council. Otherwise, you get the again default DurgaSoft certificate for the course completion certificate from
Mhm.
DurgaSoft, which is also well accredited.
Okay. And at last, will you provide any, I mean, like any resume related things?
Yeah, definitely. So again, I'll be sharing the sample resumes as well. You can go through those and you can prepare your resume accordingly. You can send that back to me. I'll make all the necessary corrections and changes to it according to the cybersecurity domain. I'll share it back to you. That will be done. That's not at all a problem.
Okay. And we need one to one session.
One-to-one? No, this is always a batch. But again, the thing is, DurgaSoft does not accept more than 3 or 4 students per batch, so that I can allocate my entire time to all the other students. There's already one more girl who has already registered. Her name is Renuka. So along with her, you'll be one more student, and maybe 1 or 2 might get added, or not sure. So it's just 2, 3 people per batch. So it's still again is not going to be invasive in any way. You won't have any problem with the other students. One-to-one might not be
Okay.
possible. There'll always be a batch, but again, it's going to be a very small batch so that I can allocate my time equally to all the students.
Okay. Approximately how much head count will be the for batch? Will you say that?
How much what? Sorry, how many?
How much count will be batch count?
Oh, as mentioned, 3 to 4 students, not more than that.
3 to 4. Then okay, yeah.
Sure.
And what's the course amount and those all details with whom I need to connect?
You can contact the Institute DurgaSoft itself. They must have shared again from wherever you got the link, via the email or the phone number. You can visit
Mm-hmm.
DurgaSoft Solutions online as well, website. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the price is 10,000 rupees, but you can discuss the details with the institute once. I think they're allowing
Yeah.
installments as well. So you can pay it in 2 installments.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I'm good, I think.
Sure, Ruha. Please contact the institute for the payment details and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'll also let them know that you're interested to contact regarding the same.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Sure, Ruha. Bye-bye.
And
Thanks for
this is the
joining the demo.
recorded section, right?
Yeah, again, you'll have the recordings of every single session. This is the demo, but once we start the actual classes, you'll be getting the recording directly to your mail once you register.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Shobit. I'm good. Thank
Sure. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.
you. Yeah.